Let's see how this problem is done. We want to find the maximum and minimum values of the function on the interval from -4 to 0. We start by looking for critical values. Take the derivative of r prime of x is equal to 6x squared plus 6x minus 12. Then let's set this derivative to 0. In order to solve for x, we divide both sides by 6. That gives us 0 equals x squared plus 1x minus 2. We can solve this quadratic equation via factoring and the zero factor property. 0 is equal to x plus 2 multiplied times x minus 1. That means we're getting two different values that can be critical values. One of which comes from solving 0 equals x plus 2. The other comes from solving 0 equals x minus 1. If I solve 0 equals x plus 2, x equals -2 is my answer. If I solve 0 equals x minus 1, x equals +1 is my answer. That means I have two critical values. One of these critical values I'm going to strike because it doesn't fit in my interval. Recall, my interval is from -4 to 0. -2 is in that interval, but 1 is not. So we strike 1, ignore that, and say the only critical value that we can use is x equals -2 for this problem. So let's go ahead and find what the critical point is. Critical point is going to have an x value of -2, and the y value is what you're going to get when you plug in -2 into your function. The other 2 points of interest that could be maximums and minimums are the endpoints. One of the endpoints is going to be having an x value of -4. And obviously the y value is going to be what we get when we plug in -4 into the function. The other endpoint is going to have an x value of 0. And the y value is what we're going to get when we plug in 0 into our function. Let's go ahead and do all of those. I'll do those fairly quickly here. Remember, when you're plugging these numbers in, whether it's -2, -4, or 0, you're plugging them into your original function, not the derivative. So plug them into this original function here. I have gone ahead and done that. When I plugged in -2 into my function, I got an output which was 24. That means the critical point is -2, comma, +24. When I plugged in a -4 into the function, I got an output which was -28. So -4 comma, negative 28. And then when I plugged in 0 into the function, I got an output of positive 4. So my other endpoint is 0, comma, positive 4. If I'm looking for maximums and minimums, well, on this interval, the maximum is going to be the highest output value. Should be clear that the highest output value is the 24. So that is the maximum. The minimum is the lowest output value. The lowest output value is the negative 28. So we've just found the maximum point and the minimum point on this interval. Now, 0, 4, it gets left out. It's neither the maximum nor the minimum. So don't be thrown off by not every point is going to be a maximum or a minimum. In fact, you could imagine we could have lots and lots of different critical values, and we could find a couple of endpoints, and only one gets to be the maximum or one gets to be the minimum unless there's a tie.